Hello and welcome to the Seer365 sessions, where we bring interesting partners together to talk about stuff that we hope will be of interest to you out there. This one is a bit of a different one. Normally we have, hopefully, an interesting conversation. I hope you find it interesting with one partner, but on this one, we're bringing together two partners. So today we got Yavrio and XE, two partners that I've been working with for a while. But we wanted to bring them both together to talk to you about their partnership and what they're doing and why it's going to be interesting to you out there. So, as normal, feel free to ask any questions as we go. The comment section, or underneath the video you're watching, feel free to add them. I can add them to the chat, and then I'll get the guys to chime in and give their thoughts. But with that, then I'll get the guys to introduce themselves. So, Lewis, do you want to kick off and introduce yourself and XE?
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Richard. Lewis Parson, enterprise consultant for xe.com, where I have been posted for over 13 years now. Essentially, XE, as a business, have been empowering businesses with highly competitive FX rates and services to help customers move money around the world. It's something we've been doing for decades now and do it very well. But more recently, we have integrated our FX and payment technologies directly into Dynamics 365 Business Central. And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Cool,
and,
thanks, Lewis.
I'm still
waiting for money to flow my way as well, but
I know. Credit should be put back your way, because it was actually this partnership between Yavrio was actually formed at a few drinks at the bar at a Seer event, probably 2.5-3 years ago now. So yeah, you guys are bringing people together.
Yeah, our parties are legendary. So thanks for that, Lewis. Philip?
Can confirm the parties are legendary. Yeah, thanks, Lewis and Richard. I'm Phil. I'm head of sales for Yavrio. For those of you who don't know, Yavrio is a fintech startup. We specialize in open banking services within D365, and we've been going for it's our 4th year running, so still feel fairly new off the ground, but we are the UK's first open banking provider, and we can connect to over 10,000 banks. And so, getting to meet XE, getting to form that partnership, and also just be part of all of the Seer initiatives that they run, we really value. I don't think we'd be where we are today had it not been for Seer.
Thank you very much. I do keep on telling people before they come on not to talk about Seer, but that seems to fall down pretty quickly, because the point of this is to talk about you guys. So without further ado then, Lewis, do you want to start talking about what you guys are doing as a partnership?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, XE is what we do very well is global payments, foreign exchange, and have been doing so for decades now. But more recently, as we've evolved and integrated our technology within BC, listening to our customers, the next obvious question is always, well, what do you do around banking connections? What do you do for bank feeds? How can you make your solution be completely embedded? And it was pretty clear from the outset, after those few drinks at the bar, that there were clear synergies between XE and Yavrio, in that our ethos in going into the integrated space is providing businesses with a fileless embedded solution. Okay, and that's very much part of Yavrio's ethos. So to date, when you partner with, when you use XE and Yavrio as a joint proposition, customers can indeed use XE to make multi-currency global payments at the click of a button, including any cross-border transactions. And then when it comes to the bank connections and the integration we've built with Yavrio, that solution is pretty seamless within their instance. So, speaking with the guys, we have a clear ethos. We have shared goals. We have shared ambitions to what we want to bring to the community. And hopefully, if the partners and consumers that have seen the technology, we've got some pretty compelling use cases to come.
Great. And Philip, what do you think of what Lewis is saying? Do you think anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, just to echo what Lewis is saying, I think with this partnership, what we've been able to provide to our partners and their users is something so unique. I haven't seen this done anywhere else in this space. So to give you an idea, like finding a provider who can connect your banks so that you can automate the statement pulls to reconcile your transactions and be able to make bulk domestic and international payments without using any files on a multi-payment rail solution, I don't believe exists today. And so what we've been able to create together is very special. And I think the more partners get to know the FX space and the PIS, the open banking PSD2 component of open banking, I think this is going to be something very compelling for the users as they migrate into Dynamics 365.
Wonderful. So, I mean, I've seen this thing that you guys have done grow, and from the very beginning, it sort of seemed very obvious to me, but it's very, very cool you've been able to do it. Ideas are one thing, delivery is another, and to seeing you guys have done this is really, really cool. So most of the audience that view these things are partner. So if I'm a Business Central partner and I'm thinking, okay, this kind of sounds interesting, I think one question I might have is, let's assume the technology works, and it does, so that's great. What's in it for me? Why as a partner would I be interested in giving this to positioning it to my customers, both net new and install base?
Sure.
You want to take that, Phil?
Yeah. I'll start. I'll let you cover some of the FX benefits to that. But as far as by partnering with Yavrio and XE, because it's such a unique proposition, you're able to get ahead of the curve against maybe other partners that are still using files to process some of the most sensitive information in and out of BC and F&O, that being your finances, your transactional data. And so by offering Yavrio and XE, a fileless solution means that A, it's a very unique proposition. B, those who are coming away from integrated solutions into D365 won't get their backs up because you won't have to introduce files. And C, the obvious one, commission. So we have a commission model in place for our partners. So the more you sell the solution, the more money you're going to make as well.
Yeah, and I just to put in context, we're not going to use real numbers on this call. The actual because that'll be between you and the partner when you talk. But the cost of doing it to a customer is very minimal. Like very minimal. The effort required is very minimal. So for the partners out there that have already sat on a bunch of work that they need to get done, this isn't going to cause a bunch of headaches. However, the money coming in from this partnership to you as a partner isn't going to be tens of thousands per customer per month. Get that. But at the same time is just ongoing money flowing through. And that's one of the things that I think this is really cool. It's just another revenue stream. For me, it's the sort of thing that I would just put into every customer. It just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Providing embedded efficiencies is ultimately going to save businesses time and money. Yeah. XE pride ourselves on offering customers reduced payment fees and highly competitive FX rates. So in most cases, we are able to add value to customers. And also by doing that, we have a built-in bank validation tool for vendor bank accounts. And because that whole process is managed within Business Central, it means enhanced securities. So for a CFO looking to make sure that their vendor payment system and controls are nailed down, why not have that whole process completely embedded into their ERP system rather than having a disconnected solution where you have a bank or another provider sitting outside of Microsoft, and then you have them then switching between platforms for FX trades and payment files. So that will create a very happy CFO, very happy customer, certainly from a loyalty perspective and stickiness. But also, in terms of helping the partners win more deals. So because we have a solution that is, so from an XE perspective, we don't charge any subscription and there's no setup cost. So also being able to provide them with highly competitive rates and fees, 9 times out of 10, we're actually adding value to the client's bottom line. So all that tends to equate to a very happy customer. And as Phil alluded to, the revenue stream that we are able to provide to partners is very lucrative, in that we provide a kickback for every single payment and transaction that would go through XE. So unless you have a relationship with some of the bank managers that are going to pay you a kickback for their clients trading with the bank, this revenue stream would be completely unattainable if you're not partnered with XE.
I think kickback is probably not the right term, but okay. I see where you're coming with it. But for legal purposes, I think one's probably more legal than the other. But that's good.
Well, we're certainly not mentioning brown envelopes here, Richard.
No. This is referral fees. I think it's probably, yeah. Let's go with that one. So if I'm this all sounds brilliant, and genuinely, I'm not just saying this because I'm on a call that's been broadcast around the world right now. I would be putting this into every customer if I was implementing BC. I think the cost is, you don't even pretty much need to tell the customer to a degree, right? It's not a big investment, but the upshot for the customer is amazing, and the upshot for you as a partner as you add more and more customers is amazing as well. So I'm a huge fan. So I just want to be clear on that. I am a huge fan, so I'm not going to be particularly neutral on this one. So are there any customer sort of stories that you guys can share?
There are. Yes, we're working on some really cool use cases at the moment. So watch out for those. We'll be drip feeding them through social media. So yeah, do expect them to see them come through. With plenty in the pipeline as well, Richard. So yeah.
All right, great. Well, I'm sure as we get to, I know sharing customer. You don't need to share any customer names on this, but yeah, really cool. And Phil, what about you with your customers? Have you what are they saying?
So what you mentioned earlier, Richard, about the low cost setup, it's almost a no-brainer when it comes to just trying out Yavrio, and the fact that you can be live in 5 minutes just by installing the app. Customers tend to install us, and we have almost zero churn since we started. We're on approximately 50% of new implementations across the UK for all of our partners, which just goes to show you that as Microsoft are investing a lot in capturing some of the smaller markets, those who are migrating away from the likes of Xero, QuickBooks, there is something for them in Business Central, and that's what our customers have said. They're so glad that they don't have to walk away from bank connectivity because their business has become a little bit more sophisticated, where they need some more processes in place. It means you can keep up to date with that. The other thing as well is there's a ramp up at the moment of financial crime, so nefarious activities across internally in other businesses as well as externally of changing bank details and getting within files so that they can get big payouts. It was I'll have to, if you want the source, email me, but it's across the next 5 years. There's going to be about a $300 billion it's predicted that about $320 billion is going to be lost due to fraud. And so as cybercrime gets more sophisticated, you want to make sure that those processes are in place within D365, and customers really appreciate that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So I think you guys have covered it. We could obviously talk about this topic for the next couple of hours with demos and show you how it all works. But I think the best thing to do is, if you are a partner and you're interested, or you're a partner or customer, happen to be watching this, but certainly if you're interested, then to email the guys. So I've got their email addresses up. I'll just pop them on the screen. So if you want to, you'll end up basically in the same place with both. But Lewis, there's his email address. I'll leave it up for a few more seconds. I think you can press pause on LinkedIn as well. So do that. And then, or if you want to get hold of Philip, feel free to do that as well. Cool. Was there anything you guys wanted to share before we leave?
I know you said not to mention Seer, but I really like the partnership, so I'm not going to stop beating on that drum. But just to say, even with the partnership with XE, I think what we've been able to build together is special. And what I really like about XE is, even though they are a huge part of the .com bubble,
Yes.
they still have they still have their wits about them, their senses to care for customers of all shapes and sizes. So we really value that part.
Thank you. I do think the culture at Yavrio, everybody's really nice at Yavrio, I have to admit.
They have good merch as well.
They have great merch. In fact, one of the mobile phone charger thing, we bailed up my wife on a night out recently. So well done for Yavrio battery packs. Lewis, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think it's being in this industry for only a few years now. When I say this industry, the Microsoft partner space, it's really refreshing how everybody's open to partnering, understanding what value proposition you have, and see whether ISVs now can partner and become a really compelling proposition, rather than it just being the standard kind of ISVs reaching out to partners and looking to partner that way. I think there's some really compelling ISV partnerships, and it's great that everyone is just open to seeing how they can benefit each other and the community. So for me, it's just been really refreshing, certainly in the BC community, how people are open to collaborate.
Absolutely, and I think you guys are definitely the pioneers. I can see other ISVs doing something similar in their spheres as well. And you never know. There might be a third one joining you guys at some point.
You never know.
I'm sure the guys would love to hear from you if you want to get involved. So with that, then I just wanted to thank everybody for their time. This is the first one of these we've done in 2025. So I guess Happy New Year, although it does seem later on in the year to be saying that, but really glad you all joined today. As I said, please get in touch with Lewis or Philip, or failing that, feel free to get in touch with me if I can help at all. But I just wanted to thank everybody for your time, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard.
Thanks
guys.